So these are a few representative of my backpacking clothing. It has all the layers that you will probably need, and I just wanted to show you what all the options that you will have and what works for me and what a little bit less. So let's start. Let's start with the shirts. Look, I live in Israel, so it's not getting very cold in here. But I go around the world sometime and I will use other stuff as well. So it's not all for desert and warm weather. Okay, let's start. This is the shirts that I go with when I go trekking and backpacking. They are all with long sleeves and with buttons and with a collar, and all synthetic, most of them 100% nylon, with a high UPF value. So I use it because they're very light and they function well when it's getting very hot and you sweat a lot. And with this color and with the long sleeves, you can get really good sun protection in all areas of your body and the neck. So it's very important for me. And if you're getting too warm, you can fold up the sleeves and you can button the buttons here and get good ventilation. Now, I have also this Modal shirt. Modal, it's a natural fibers fabric. It's supposed to be very good, but for me it didn't work so well. I prefer much more the nylon or the synthetic clothing. I like it more. I use those pants. I have all kinds of trekking pants from all kinds of brands. What's important for me, first of all, that they are synthetic. Also a high level of nylon. It's lighter and it's very strong, and it's much better for me. Anyway, for my regular jeans or other stuff, other cotton stuff, it dries quickly and it's light and it's much stronger, in my opinion. What's important for me, that I have this zipper to separate it, to do long and short pants, and I don't like a lot of pocket. I like it to be very clean and streamlined, but I love a little side pocket with a zipper. It's very comfortable for me. If I go with public transportation around the world, I will put my backpack in the trunk, and here I will have my wallet, my passport, my cellular phone, if I will have. So this thing is good. I have this is a little bit lighter fabric, and they are also with thicker fabric if I think I will really tear the pants or do something more aggressive. These are thermal shirts. Most of the time I will go with this, and this will be my first layer. But if I think I would never get to the first layer and it's very cold weather, and I will always have a fleece on or something, so I will use those because it's more clean and it will be more comfortable with other layers on it. I use micro fleece. I separate them with one thing. Some of them has a long zipper and some of them has a short zipper. The long zipper I will use if the weather is not so cold, and I will use the micro fleece as a jacket. It will be much comfortable with the long zipper. And those I will use if I know that it is very cold weather and it won't be the last layer, and I will put more clothing on it. It will be more comfortable for me because the zipper won't be in the way and disturbing. These are nice fleece pants for warmth in the legs. It's important. And this is thicker insulation. It's a nice low alpine fleece and a big North Face down jacket, both very, very light. This I would use if the weather is nice and not extremely, extremely cold, and I will need something more durable. Nothing will happen to this, and if it will get some holes, it won't be so bad. On the other way, if this will get holes or torn, it will be destroyed. So I need to be more careful with this, but it's much warmer, and you can crush it to a really small place, and it's very, very light and very, very warm. On the outer layers, I have two jackets. I have also rain pants, but I didn't show them here because it's just regular breathable rain pants, and that's it. I have those two. One of them is an outer shell marmot, a pretty thick one, so I won't need to be very careful and still enjoying the trip. The only disadvantage it has, I think, that this thing on the mouth, it's not high enough. So if it's getting really stormy and very rainy, so the rain will go inside, but it has this thing, so it's good enough. This one I like the most. It's a low alpine tough jacket. They made it for casual wearing, not for backpacking, but for me it works the best because it has a Primaloft inside, so it's very, very warm. It has a very tough fabric in here, and the rainproof, the waterproof shell, it's inside of this fabric, so this will protect the inner part, and it's very warm and very tough and absolutely rainproof and waterproof. They don't make it anymore, but I'm sure you can find other things look alike. It's a little bit heavy, but most of the time I will go only with these and this, maybe a microfleece and this thing, and it will be enough. Warm enough and strong enough and very good. Now this is my under clothing. I use this ex officio underwear, and they're very good. They're drying quickly, and after a few days of backpacking, they would be smelly, but not very, very, very smelly. Now about socks, I have all kinds of socks. Look, these are professional backpacking socks. This is a regular cotton sports sock. For me, the professional socks only worked when I was in a very cold weather. I think for most people they work also in warm weather. Socks like this Bridgedale that's made for warm weather. Some of them are wool, some of them are Coolmax, and some of them a blend of fibers. For me, they didn't really work, and I don't really like those. I have a lot more socks, like professional socks. I tried all brands. For me, it didn't work. For me, in Israel, when I go with this simple, not professional cotton sock, and it works for me better. When I go abroad in colder places, I will definitely use those, the more professional socks, and leave those at home. About gloves, I have 3 sets of gloves. The first one is thick marmot, waterproof with big insulation gloves. I think they made those for ski or snowboarding or whatever, but they're good for backpacking. I have this Black Diamond wool gloves. They're a little bit stretchy, and I think they have Polartec fibers inside of them. I'm not sure. Anyhow, they're very good, and although they are big gloves all the way to the fingers, they are pretty comfortable to handle and cook with them, and it's good. And I have those gloves. It's not really a glove, it's just a sleeve with a little place to the big finger. It gives you a little bit warmth and easy to handle things with your hands. Most of the time here in Israel I will use those. If it's getting very cold I will use those, and this is only if I go outside of Israel to rainy places and cold places. This is for the neck, you know this, not something very clever. And I have two hats in here to show you. This is a Mountain Hardwear hat with a wind block layer inside. And the wind really doesn't go inside, but I felt like my head is burning and melting inside because it didn't get no air. So even in very cold places I don't go with this one. I don't like it so much and it's not comfortable for me. I just use this. It's a high quality Polartec Thermal Pro hat. It's made by Native. It's a local Israeli brand. It doesn't really matter, but you can find all kinds of those simple fleece hats, and it works for me the best. For the sun, I have two hats. Both of them with cup and with a thing with a sleeve to the neck. All synthetic and with a very high level of UPF protection. It's very, very important for me, especially here in Israel, because the sun can burn your head and it won't be so good for you. When you're in the middle of the desert, you will stay there if you don't have a very good hat. So the difference between them, I show you also this, because this thing, the thing to the neck, you can separate it. And if you have long hair, like my girlfriend, she uses this hat, you have this thing in here when you can take your hair out and it will be comfortable to you. Okay, so this is my clothing. It's not all the clothing that exists in the world, but it works for me, also in warm places and also in very cold and rainy places. I hope it helped you. Okay, bye.